Hello, a very good morning and welcome to the webinar. My name's Andrew Hellier and I've got the pleasure to be hosting today's session. I'm also joined by Jason Hollis, our General Manager of Product. Now, I wanted to start by thanking you all for taking the time out of your busy mornings to join us here on the call today. I know that everyone has a busy schedule these days, so we're very thankful that you've dedicated your time to join us. It's also really fantastic to see some familiar names here on the session. So I'd love to use this opportunity to remind everyone that communication with our clients is a priority for us. You don't have to wait for a webinar like this to ask us your question or give us your feedback. Our door's always open. So please feel free to note down our contact details that are here on the slide. Now, today's webinar is designed for you, our Reckon clients and partners, to get an understanding of our exciting new product, Reckon Insights. Now, we do have a lot to cover in this short 30-minute session, and we'll be taking all of your questions at the end of the presentation. Now, you don't have to wait till the end of the session to ask us your questions. Please just type them into the GoToWebinar question box at any time. Now, there are quite a few of us attending the session here this morning, so Jason and I will strive to get through as many questions as we can. And as I mentioned before, if we don't get to your question, please contact us on the details on the slide or feel free to leave us your comments in the post-webinar survey. Just a quick disclaimer before we kick things off here this morning. What you'll hear and see during this presentation is of a very general nature and is purely for demonstration and marketing purposes. Here at Reckon, we're not accountants, we're not tax or BAS agents, so we don't offer taxation or payroll advice. Now, if you do have any specific questions regarding individual business circumstances, we do suggest that you reach out to your professional advisor. Or if you're a tax or BAS agent here today, your relevant professional body. Now that all of the boring stuff's out of the way, let's move on to the agenda. And as I mentioned earlier, the purpose of today's session is to give you, our valued clients, an overview of our exciting new solution, Reckon Insights. We want to make sure that you have all this information as soon as possible, and we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to ask us all of your questions. So what are we going to touch on today? Firstly, we're going to touch on what is Reckon Insights and why have we brought this exciting new product to market. Then we're going to jump into the important part of our discussion here today and show you how you can really add that additional dimension of data with an in-product demo. We'll then cover off pricing and licensing types before jumping in to answer all of your questions. Now, before we jump into the what and why of Reckon Insights, I wanted to quickly touch on the importance of getting to know your business financial data in more detail. Analysing your business financials in this day and age is just so crucial for making those informed decisions and understanding the overall health of your business. Now, many of you on the call here today, I'm sure, are analysing your business data on a daily basis. It's like second nature, right? But why is it really important? By tracking your financial performance over time, you can easily identify areas for improvement and more accurately forecast budgets. Analysing financial data also enables more informed decision-making around strategic initiatives such as investments, business growth, opportunities, or the flip side of that, cost-cutting measures. And it's not all about growth and revenue. It facilitates compliance with regulatory requirements and really helps you maintain credibility and trustworthiness in your business, and can also help you as a business owner in avoiding costly penalties, which could be incurred by not accurately reviewing your data. Furthermore, having the right data on hand can help businesses secure financing and streamline that application process by being able to quickly demonstrate your business financial health and viability. Now, we could go on here, but essentially to summarize, your financial data is crucial for making informed decisions, planning for the future, and ensuring the long-term success of your business. So how can we at Reckon help you become an expert analyzer of your financial data? Well, introducing Reckon Insights. Reckon Insights is a cloud-based business intelligence and data analytics platform that we've just released to the market. Now, the software is designed to help all business types make better decisions by providing actionable insights based on your financial and operational data. It also gives you secure access to all the data that you currently have available across your Reckon product suite and is able to add multiple dimensions to what you're currently familiar with within your Reckon software reports. Reckon Insights contains some exciting key features such as easy financial reporting for those consolidated entities. Now, I know that there are a fair few Reckon Accounts clients on this call this morning. So do you have multiple QBW files and entities within Reckon Accounts hosted? With Reckon Accounts Insights, you can spend less time consolidating your financial data manually and more time reviewing your results. With Reckon Insights, you can consolidate these unlimited entities and files quickly and accurately across hundreds of reports and visualizations. And it's not just about the time saving. Automating your reporting across multiple entities mitigates the risk of error. In fact, the head offices of our key clients, Scout South Australia and the Victorian State Emergency Service, are already utilising the power of Reckon Insights to consolidate reporting across all their individual groups that are currently using Reckon software. Another key feature is report automation. Now, with Reckon Insights, you can fully automate routine consolidated reporting and schedule report preparation. Reckon Insights keeps that constant connection with your Reckon accounts hosted or Reckon One financial data files. So you can schedule the delivery of reports at your inbox at the click of a button, ensuring that your entire team and business is kept up to date with the latest results. And these awesome reports are also able to be exported from Reckon Insights or scheduled in the usual multiple formats. We've got PDF, PNG, CSV for Microsoft Excel. Now, in addition to automating reports and visualizations, Reckon Insights also includes a range of collaboration features that allow users to share their data and graphs with colleagues or stakeholders. This can help you ensure that everyone in your organization is aligned around the same data-driven goals. And in the future, we'll also add forecasting capabilities. The platform has the ability to utilize machine learning and analyze historical data and predict future trends, allowing you to make more accurate predictions around business performance. And this can be particularly useful for businesses that need to plan for growth or anticipate potential changes in the market. So why have we brought Reckon Insights to market? In today's data-driven world, owners, managers, finance teams, and advisors want and need to engage and be empowered with platforms that can help improve their business decisions and spot pain points. Now, there's a quote by Theodore Levitt that really resonates well with Jason and I when we were thinking about Reckon Insights. Theodore was a German-born American economist and a professor at the Harvard Business School. He also served as the editor of the Harvard Business Review. Theodore says people don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill. They want a quarter-inch hole. So think about what Theodore is saying here for the moment. People are interested in the result that the tool will give them, not necessarily the tool to achieve that result. The tool, however, obviously needs to be functional enough to drill the hole and achieve that goal. So let's talk about some potential data goals that you may set and why Reckon Insights can be the tool to help you meet those goals. Let's start with improved decision-making. By using data analytics software, you can analyze large volumes of data and gain insights that can help you make better decisions. You can identify trends, patterns, correlations that may not be immediately apparent through manual analysis and use this information for strategic planning and operational decision-making. Number two, increased efficiency and productivity. Data analytics software can automate many manual tasks, saving you time and reducing the risk of errors. With data analytics software, your business can quickly and easily process those large amounts of data, freeing up your time for you to focus on running your business. Number three, better customer understanding and enhanced competitiveness. Analytics software can help you understand your customers better by analyzing their behavior and looking at their preferences. This information can be used to improve your customer service, develop targeting marketing campaigns, and even identify new product or service opportunities. And by leveraging data to improve your business operations, you can stay ahead of your competition and better meet the needs of your customers. Number four, risk mitigation. So data analytics software can help you easily identify potential risks to your business, such as fraudulent activity or maybe even supply chain disruptions. By detecting these risks early on, you can then take the steps to mitigate them and prevent financial or reputational damage to your business. And finally, another reason why we brought Reckon Insights to market is because of you, our valued customers asked for it. Here's a snippet from a recent survey when we asked Reckon Accounts hosted clients, what would you like to see improved in Reckon Accounts reports? Some of you actually on the call here today may remember filling this in. 57% of respondents stated that they would love further customization options, and 22% stated that they would like additional reports with more performance. So these are not insignificant numbers. So let's talk about what data Reckon Insights can currently access. Currently, Reckon Insights is able to connect to our Reckon Cloud Suite. So that's Reckon Accounts Hosted and Reckon One data. And for the purpose of this product demonstration that Jason will be presenting shortly, he'll be working with Reckon Accounts and Reckon One data. So any files that you currently have sitting in Reckon Accounts Hosted or Reckon One, is able to be accessed and analysed from within Reckon Insights. And we are looking to expand this data reach, and we're currently working on feeds for other accounting platforms such as Square and Stripe. We'll then move on to e-commerce platforms such as WooCommerce and Shopify. So if you're using an e-com platform, please stay tuned. So we're about to now get on to the star of the show, our Reckon Insights live demonstration. And as I mentioned earlier, Jason Hollis, our General Manager of Product, has the pleasure of driving today. Jason will be covering off a fair bit in his short demonstration, so please get comfy. Jason, I'm just going to hand over to you now.
I'll just check with you, Andrew, that you can see the Reckon Insights homepage.
Sure can, Jason. Yep, that's all coming through clearly, and we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so thanks again, everyone. And as Andrew mentioned, you can type questions. We'll try and get through as many as we can today. Andrew will be doing the questions. Any that we can't answer today, Andrew will refer back to myself and the product team, and we'll get back to you ASAP. So again, thank you for your time today. I know everyone's time is valuable, but we're really excited to bring you this product, as Andrew said. To me, being a third generation business owner and a consultant for many years, you know, data is key. It is the hole that you want at the end of the day, not the drill to get there. But you know, everyone needs accounting software, and the reason we're entering data in there is to get data out. So we really want to expand on that today. So as Andrew mentioned, I don't have a lot of time today, so it's a really kind of high level overview to get you excited about the product. And we'll definitely have more advanced sessions once the product's, you know, mature and we've got some users on board. We'll definitely have those advanced sessions to take everyone through certain aspects of the product. We really wanted a product where you could start simple and grow with the business. So what I want to show kind of just very quickly is essentially how you access the product. So first and foremost, you sign up for a trial. We've got a 14-day trial, as Andrew may have mentioned. Most of you would be used to logging into our portal, so portal.reckon.com to lodge your STP. If you haven't, simply go to portal.reckon.com, sign up for an account, and you'll see Reckon Insights here on the left-hand side. Now, within Insights, you can manage your licenses, and then you need to allocate them to the particular staff members. So as you can see, Andrew will talk about this a little bit after the presentation, but we have a creator viewer license and then data feeds as well. Data feeds for Reckon accounts hosted are $10 per month at the moment. Reckon One data feeds complimentary. Once you've set up your feeds, you will go in and manage all of the access for your team. So you can manage your data feeds. In here, you've set up multiple data feeds. You'll see I've got a few set up already, and you go and manage your groups. So you can put your staff and team members and other business members into certain groups so they can only access certain data. Data is really key, obviously, and you know, you don't want to share your data with people that you don't really want you don't want to share to, and you can manage your folder access as well. So I just very quickly wanted to go over this in terms of the external tool, but I'll get into the product and go through groups and folders, and it'll make sense to everyone. Something that is important to your company is actually your company code, and we won't go into too much detail, but I'll show you today that the company code can be shared with other companies, so you can invite them, or you can be invited into their data, and vice versa, you can invite other companies into your data as well. Let's get straight into the product. So the URL to log into Reckon Insights is insights.reckon.com, and you'll land on the landing page, funnily enough. Here, it's good to familiarize yourself with the product, or if you are like me and don't like to read help articles until you get into trouble, you can dive straight in. But we do have a quick start guide, you know, introduction. We've got lots of help articles. You can download content, lots of help videos as well over here to get you started and underway, and dive straight in is the best I recommend. To help you out, we've got over 100 pre-built visualizations, dashboards, reports, charts at the moment. We want to get that number up to about 300 so that we should have all the bases covered. But if we don't, I'll show you today as well how to go and create your own content. So if you're not really sure and just kind of want to play around, first thing to do is obviously hook up your data file, but we do have a complimentary demo data file, which I'll be using one of them today, called the North Shore Bistro. So you can just click on financial, and this will take you straight through to our financial charts, KPIs, ratios, and reports area. We do have, as I said, over 100 out of the box system reports that are pre-built, and I'll show you how to see your data essentially immediately. If you've got a Reckon One data source, you should have your data within the hour. Reckon Accounts being an enterprise database, it will take a little bit longer, so we recommend letting it refresh overnight, and by all means have a play with the demo data while you're waiting for it. So if I just run the finance dashboard here, I'm just going to use the demo book. So as you'll see, we've pre-configured this nice dashboard. You need to select what book. So when I use the term book, that kind of means ledger. Obviously, Reckon Accounts hosted is a company file, but we could only come up with only use one name, so we've settled on book. Kind of covers everything. And I'm just going to load the North Shore Bistro here. So this is sucking all of the data out of my wonderful bistro that I started just as COVID hit in 2020. And let's see today how it's performing. So as you can see here, a bit of a rocky start, even into early 2022, but we are starting to see a little bit of profit now. Now, this is a restaurant, so some of the ratios, like collections ratio, you don't invoice people in a restaurant. That'd be a fairly bad business model. I'd suggest, Andrew, waiting for payment later. Same with receivables turnover. But you can see here we've got some quick ratios. Return on equity is not great. I'll have to do something about that. But our year-to-date income's up on last year. Our liabilities are down, which is great. I took out a substantial loan to get this restaurant started. Our expenses tracking pretty good, and our cost of goods sold a little bit up, but obviously goes with sales. So at a snapshot, I can see how my business is tracking, and we'll talk a little bit later how you can customize your dashboards. I've got $17,000 in the bank, and my assets and liabilities are my liabilities are shrinking, which is awesome. My assets are shrinking, but that's probably due to depreciation. And as I said, great snapshot to kind of get started. If you've got a bit of an accounting background, you can see a quick trial balance to make sure everything's in order, and a very quick P&L summary for the year. Okay, so this is a dashboard that you get, as I said, pre-built. On this page as well, you'll see there's folder navigation, which is accessed via the hamburger menu here. So in the folders, the way we share the predefined reports is we actually have a shared folder that we create at Reckon. And under this folder will be all of the insights categories, financial categories, bank, payroll, accounts receivable and payable, where we store all those predefined reports. Your shared folder is content that you've shared with other businesses as well. And as we noted earlier, that's my business code there. Within here, as I said, there's around 100, there's actually 114 predefined, and they might be fine for most businesses, and you've got full access to filters, but most businesses will want to customize their own content. So we'll get into some nice customization in a minute. If I just go back to the home page, couple of things to note. As I said, you can use some of our predefined templates. You can build your own insights, and we have quick start help guides, videos, how-to documents. You can lodge a support ticket if you need, and also offer suggestions, which with a new product is fantastic. We've actually already got some suggestions from our beta trialists. Up here under your avatar, you can actually have a look at your account information. The history I really love. It tells me all of the reports and looks and where I've been recently if I need to go back there, and a full history here, and you can navigate straight to those. What we'll do though is pretend I'm running a restaurant. We joke during the week, it's really tough running a fake business, trying to get those books to balance, but the restaurant's coming into profit this year. We've had to cut our cleaner back by 10 hours a week, which was a tough call to make on a fake employee, and it was with a heavy heart that we had to reduce his hours, but you've got to be profitable, as we all know. So as I mentioned earlier, we have our predefined reports. However, if you want to build your own, you can start from scratch, but we'd recommend taking one of ours and customizing that particular folder. So I've chosen a financial chart as my example today. So as you can see, under financial, we've got multiple charts, KPIs, ratios. There's lots of different charts here, and I'm going to select bank balance. So again, this is one of our predefined reports. And all you need to do is really add your data source in, and you can get underway. So you'll see we've got some predefined filters up here, and I'm going to select my book, and I'm going to look at North Shore Bistro and run that. Now, as you can see, no work needed by yourselves, and we've got a really nice visual display here of my income, my expenses, and if I click on here, I can actually drill down to all the transactions for that day in another visualization. And it shows here, you know, my bank balance bit up, bit down, and that's my month close so far. And I can look at that in the table, I can explore the data here, or I can simply just download this. However, as I said, I want to be able to customize something myself. So something I'm really interested in is, during COVID, the business wasn't going so great, so we had to pivot. We didn't go for a food truck, like one of our board members suggested. So what we did was actually open up a wholesaler for meats. We've called that Pete's Meats. Very creative, I know. So in Pete's Meats, we want to be able to consolidate our reports. And Andrew and I see this as a very big plus for this tool. And Andrew mentioned SES and Scouts. They obviously have a lot of organisations. The typical process would be you run P&Ls individually for each organisation. They email them in, and then the financial controller has to somehow consolidate 100 plus P&Ls from all of those organisations. Surely there's got to be a better way. Now, not everyone's going to have over 100 organisations, but we know that we've got clients with multiple data files. Maybe they've got a data file, a company file for different rental properties, for example, or they've got trusts, or maybe in this example, like us, we've got just a couple of trading entities under our company, and we want to look at that data consolidated. So I'm really keen to see what the income and expenses were for last month for those companies. So I'll stick in my financial folder here, and I'm going to look at income versus expenses. And we're on an accrual basis for our restaurant, so I'm going to open income versus expenses for accrual. Now, as you'll note here, again, they're predefined, so I can select my book straight away. I just want to look at last financial month, and I can run that. And as you can see up here, I cannot edit that at all. So what I need to do is save this as my own report. So I'm going to save this now in my folder under Bistro Books, and I'm going to call it businesses. So now I've saved this look, which is what we call the visualization, the data and the filters. So we've got a look into our data. Once I've saved this, you can see now that I can edit it. So first and foremost, I'm just going to set up a bit of dummy data so I can see what this is going to look like, because maybe it's great straight away. So I just click run there. Again, it's pulling the data out of both of these entities, and it's giving me a consolidated view of my business. Now, I can see the net profit I've made across both, 30K. I can see my total income, and I can see my expenses here. But it's not really giving me what I want in terms of how's one entity performing over the other. So I can simply go and edit this data, and you'll notice that we've been given additional tools here in terms of the visualization, and I can see the data down here that I'm running. And if I look at the data, the first thing I notice is, okay, I've got my book name or my entity name up here, but it doesn't appear in the data at all. So I come over to the side, and this is, if I click on in use, this is all the data fields, or we call them dimensions, that are in use to run this particular visualization. And I can see, yes, I've got the book name as a filter, but it's not included in my data at all. So I'm going to add that in. Now, trial and error, let's run that, see what it looks like. Okay, so it's changed a little bit. It's probably made it more complex and harder to read. But what's gone wrong? I've added my book data. Isn't this exactly what I want? First thing I can do is come over to edit the visualization, and I can see that it's a stacked series position. So I'm just going to group it, and does that help? Well, it breaks it up, a little easier to read, but not quite what I'm after either. So what I'm actually going to do is remove the book name from the pivot, and I'm actually going to drag the book name over to be the first column. Let's run that, because this should now make my book name the focal point. Yep, and I can see it's consolidated those, but actually stacked would work now perhaps. So if I click stacked, I can now see the North Shore Bistro and Pete's Meats, the profit of each for last month side by side. And as I mentioned earlier, we can do this for 2 entities, we can do this for 100 entities, and you can adjust the visualizations that you may want. Now, this looks okay for me, but I really want to know, what's the percentage different? I don't want to get a calculator. If you have to get out a calculator or a spreadsheet, you're in the 1990s perhaps, I would suggest, and no offense to people who love spreadsheets, I'm a bit of a spreadsheet nut myself, but horses for courses, right? You don't want to be saving spreadsheets, especially to a data source, because the data source changes. So we want a nice visualization, and we also want something that others, either in our business or family or advisors, can understand without sharing a spreadsheet with you, because we know that spreadsheets are very particular to how you want them. They're not as easily read by somebody who didn't create it. So the first thing I want to look at is some totals of my data. If I run that, I should now get totals for each of my columns. But what I'm really interested in is, what's the percentage between both of my entities? And in Insights, I can quickly click on the settings cog there and say that I want a percentage of this column. When I run that now, that should come up as a percentage, which it does. So 78% of my profit is coming from the bistro and 22% from Pete's Meats. But again, I'm not overly keen on this visualization. I think we can do better. So we've got multiple visualizations here to choose from. And again, we've just launched this product. We hope to have many more visualizations over time. And by all means, we would love our community to suggest visualizations. We've built this product so that we've got very quick turnaround on all of our visualizations, all of our looks, and we're really keen to work with our community to give you what you want. And if there's one that you love and you think that everyone should share in the love, we're more than happy to build it out and share it with everyone. So with this particular visualization, I actually want to look at this in a table. because I love my spreadsheets. Who doesn't? But I want a bit more graphical representation. So I kind of want some visualizations mixed in with my data as well. So you can see here that on the total income column, we've got some little bar graphs there to signify, my income. Total expenses doesn't have anything, neither does net profit. So the first thing I want to do here is go into my series and down to total expenses, and I want to cell visualization. Okay, you can't really see the white. In fact, you can't see it at all. So I want to change that a little bit, and I can select a predefined palette, but actually green and black doesn't really tell me what I want for expenses. So for me, expenses aren't always bad. They're a necessary evil, but let's show them with the red, and we'll pick a slightly different shade of red for the other entity. Cardinal C. Okay, here we go here. And I want to change my income. Sorry, I'm going into the Explore. So I want to change my income here. So I'll go to the series again. And I will look at my income. And I'll change that visualization. Go from white to green. Pump the brightness up a little bit and go for green as well. So that's starting to look a little bit more like what I'm after for this report. Okay, so I've got the report that I want. So let me run that. Yep, it's looking great. What I want to do now is save that again. I don't want to rename it, so I'm just going to save. Okay, so now that's available under my folder, Bistro Books. And you can see that the two businesses' income and expenses is there. But how do I share that with others? So in Insights, we've got a couple of options. There's two concepts. There's a dashboard, which, as you can imagine, is just the dashboard I showed earlier with that financial ratios. We can build up different visualizations and have that as kind of what you log into and see every day. You can also have what we call boards, which is essentially an easier way to group your data so that you can have different boards with different things going on that you really just navigate around the boards and see what you want rather than going through the menus every single time. And the boards can include dashboards as well. So it's really where I keep my content. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add that to a board. And I've got a board already, Bistro Financials, and the board's got multiple sections. So I'm going to add it to my business strength section. So you'll see on the left here, I've got my boards, and there's my Bistro Financials. And you can see now that I've got income versus expenses. Now, what I would normally do is share that board with my staff members, and this is where they come every day. But you can also do a couple of things with this board. First of all, you can share it. So you can either copy the URL or you can copy in team members or groups you've created and invite them to the board. You can delete the board, start again, wouldn't recommend that, or you can just remove this from the list, because remember, these are already predefined and saved. So by deleting the board, you're not going to delete the actual content. Or you can just remove that from the board. Now you can add multiple content in here, you can add descriptions. You can see here if I go plus, I can add saved content. So I can again filter through all my folders and bring some content through, or I can add a link URL. So one of my staff members forgets where they work. So they come to the board, click on there, and then they go, oh, that's right. And they make their way. We've probably got to look at that staff member, to be honest. Adding that probably wasn't the best idea. We probably should have coached them through finding their way to work. But you can add any content on here. So I jest, but you might have a link there to online banking or any other content that's kind of relevant to your business. As I said, we also have the concept of dashboards. So I can already tell that in Bistro Books, we don't have any dashboards at the moment. So I'm going to go into the report I created earlier. And there's a couple of options in here. So first of all, I can just download this visualization. That looked like it didn't save, Andrew, when I had when I hit exit. So let's just assume we're going to keep this little guy. Better save that again. So from here, I can do a couple of things. I can add this to a board, as we just talked about. So you can add the visualization to the board. I can send it. So here I can give my schedule a name. I can decide to send it by email. I can send the table, the visualization, as Andrew mentioned earlier, multiple different formats. I can do different filters. So when I send it, I can filter out, change filters to maybe yesterday, and some advanced options down here. So I can manage that. I can actually also share this, as I mentioned before. I can merge the results with another visualization or another look, or I can save it to a dashboard. So I'm going to save this as a new dashboard now. I'm going to put it in my folder under Bistro Books. We'll go Bistro Dash. Okay, so now that I'm in Bistro Books, again, over on the left menu here, you should see that I've now got a dashboard, which is here. Now, I can either go into the dashboard or I can do some things straight here. I can add that to my existing board. As I said, you can add dashboards to boards. I can deliver this whole dashboard as I build it out. I can copy it so I don't have to rehash my work, or I can move it to somewhere else. So what I'm going to do is just go into this dashboard. As you know, it's only got one bit of content on there at the moment. So what I can do here is a couple of things. As I said, I can add this to my board, or I can actually copy the dashboard. I can download it. So if you download it, you've got PDF or CSV, or I can schedule a delivery again of this whole entire dashboard. So you can schedule delivery of just one particular look and visualization, or you can actually send your whole dashboard, which is the #1 use case that we see. In fact, #1 use case is you would have somebody at head office possibly creating this content, and then the branch would have a viewer license where they can view their dashboards. You really just want to send content to people who only need a static snapshot rather than near real-time data. As Andrew mentioned, you can PDF, you can CSV, or you can send as a PNG graphic. You can schedule different occurrences, obviously, as I mentioned, who you're sending it to, different filters, etc., etc. What you can also do, which I really love, as a business owner, I would be setting up what we call alerts. So you can look at some of the data dimensions we've got here, and I might want an alert if my total expenses are greater than, let's say, 50,000. I'm going to email that to myself, and change the time a little bit, 9:30. And I'm going to save that alert. So now I'll get an alert if my expenses hit that threshold. And you can set up alerts throughout all the visualizations on your dashboard. And as a business owner, you don't necessarily want to troll through everything and kind of make decisions. You want, the visualization tool to make some intuitive decisions for you, or at least alert you about it. As Andrew mentioned, we do have the capabilities on this platform for machine learning, and that'll be kind of phase 2 of this project next year, where we start looking at predictive analytics and predictive alerts, etc. So yeah, we're really excited what we've built because it gives us a lot of scope for the future. Already gone through what you can do here, but as I mentioned before, you can also get just a link to that dashboard, and you can include the current filters in that as well. Andrew, that's about it. Sorry for the sound issue. I'll be, as I said, throwing those headphones out at the end of the day, but hopefully that all came through loud and clear.
It did indeed. I'm just going to switch back to my screen now, Jace, so just bear with me one moment. And we should be clear now. Can you see that screen now, Jace?
Okay.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Well, thank you for that fantastic demonstration, Jace. And I'm sure many of you have some questions, and I can see that a fair few questions have come through so far. So just remember, you don't have to wait until question time to ask a question. Please just type it into the GoToWebinar question box. But before we do move on to questions, I just wanted to quickly cover off the Record Insights licensing types. So there are 2 licensing types, creator and viewer. So let's start with the default, the creator license. So all new Record Insights subscribers will need to purchase a creator license, and the cost of that creator license, as you can see on the slide here, is just $39 per month. A creator license allows users to access all 100 out-of-the-box reports and visualizations, as Jason mentioned. It also allows deep customization of these pre-created reports. So there was a report that you're really enjoying, but you need to add a few more dimensions of data. You can easily make those changes, like when Jace went in and added those additional dimensions to create that consolidated profit and loss. The true power, however, is in that, as Jason presented in that fantastic demo, is building your own reports and visualizations, because Insights is essentially a sandbox for all your business data. So in addition to the creator license, and as Jason did mention, we have a viewer license at $10 a month. So that viewer license allows access to all pre-created reports, but with limited customization. So for example, you can change the date range, but you can't add any of those additional data dimensions. The viewer license is also able to view the reports and visualizations that the creator license E has made available to them. So this is perfect for bigger teams who just need access to dashboards and visualizations on a daily or weekly basis, but they don't really need to get in and start customizing those data visualizations or reports. So a perfect example, in my opinion, could be a sales manager that needs to see a dashboard of their top 10 customer sales every day, but they don't need to then make adjustments to that report. There's also a small additional monthly fee to connect various data feeds, and that starts from $10 a month. Well, thank you again for your time here today, and thank you for staying till the end of the presentation. I hope you've liked what you've seen here, and if you have, you can get set up with Record Insights straight away, as we offer a free 14-day trial. Please just visit www.record.com and then navigate your way to the Record Insights page. For those that do have to jump off now, I hope you have a great afternoon, and if you'd like to know more, we'd love the opportunity for a further discussion. So a short survey will pop up after you leave this webinar. Please take a moment to fill it out and provide us with your valuable feedback. And if you have missed anything in today's session, it has been recorded, so please keep an eye out for the recording that I'll be emailing a little bit later today. So Jason, I think we take some questions now, if that's okay. So just bear with me, everybody, while I jump into the GoToWebinar control panel. And there's quite a few that have come through. Just just keep in mind, there are some questions that you may have that Jason and I may need to actually go back and explore ourselves. So we do apologise if we don't have all of the answers to your questions now, but we're sure to get in touch with you once we're able to confirm that. So Jason, we might start off with question number 1. Sorry, I'm just making the box a little bit bigger on GoToWebinar. Sometimes a little bit hard to see. Here we go. Can the reporting easily report on separate classes within the one company?
Yes, it can. So classes are a dimension, and we'll be adding different dimensions of data as we release the product. So yeah, classes are one of those dimensions. We're testing a few different scenarios at the moment on where we'd use them and add them into the reporting. But yeah, it's very, very important for insights to have as many dimensions. We want to be able to slice and dice across those, and classifications in Reckon Accounts is one of those.
Excellent, thank you, and good question. Another one here, are there any inventory and purchasing reports? For example, recommended how much to order for each inventory item based on past sales, stock on hand, stock on sales, order, etc.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, many of you may know, Reckon Accounts does come with inventory. We've got that scheduled for the second half of this year to start pulling out inventory specific reports. So they've obviously included in sales and purchase reports, for example. But coming from an inventory background myself, we're keen to build out a specific module just for inventory, to talk about things like stock turns. And we do have the ability in this product, we won't get to it this year, but next year in terms of predictive. And you can actually schedule orderings right through to the supplier. So I don't want to get everyone excited. I'm kind of excited and I have to temper that sometimes. But we do have the ability to actually automate the ordering process, either with approval or not. So essentially, we've done some tests essentially on vehicle tracking, for example, and when an oil filter is due after so many kilometers, and we can actually get the oil filter ordered from the supplier. So yeah, we're very keen to explore that area, but we'll have to do that next year. But again, please put a suggestion into our ideas area, and we'll look at all of those seriously. And yeah, let us know what type of visualizations you want to see. So if we're not quite right for you today, what do you need to see? And it's very quick for us to turn some of these around.
Thanks, Jason. And will that also include, say, forecasting by sales by item, for example?
Yep, totally. So we'll be able to do trend analysis. We can do a little bit of limited trend analysis now, obviously based on previous year's sales. What we want to add in is, some what if analysis around, what if I had an extra salesperson? But I think giving the capability for our customers over time to be able to look at their sales and maybe sales per sales rep, and or revenue per employee number or revenue per payroll expense, some really good insights where you're kind of mixing data from different sources in terms of the application that we wouldn't traditionally look at in Reckon Accounts. So yeah, we're really keen to kind of be able to bring all of those dimensions together to give, pardon the pun, really good insights into your business.
Thanks, Jace. And another good question here. We run one book by meaning of book, it's QBW file in Reckon Accounts hosted, but use class tracking to record transactions by department. Would this data be identifiable or filterable in Insights rather than separate files as you showed in your demo, Jace?
Yeah, so I'll talk with the boys about classes and see where we've gotten to in terms of the dimensions across all the data. As you probably know, class tracking in Reckon Accounts generally works best across P&L, even though you can assign it to a balance sheet. But there's no reason why Insights can't actually pull that through. But yeah, great question, because the way you would use classifications is as a further dimension. So I've used books as a dimension, but classes would work as the same dimension criteria as well. So instead of segregating by book, you would segregate by class, and you'd be able to look at all of your cost centers in that way, exactly as I showed. Again, if you're using your classes locations, you can look at multiple locations as well.
Another good question here. We currently have a payroll company and a trading company within Reckon Accounts hosted. We allocate bills to jobs and payroll hours to jobs. Will Reckon Insights allow me to run reports by job showing the costs from the trading company and the costs from payroll?
Yes, it will. The one caveat with payroll and Reckon Accounts Hosted is the data is not available via an API. So we're looking at some ingenious ways to try and get the payroll data out of Reckon Hosted at the moment. And we'll look at some good ways where we can probably get that data a different way, maybe an IIF export or a payroll report export, and suck that data in. Because yeah, we're really key, again, as I said, been in business, our family a long time, and one of the things we did was look at our jobs versus our employee headcount. We used to calculate our tradies' profit essentially per the jobs they were doing. So we're really keen again to bring payroll hours, payroll amounts into insights where you can look at the measures one against the other. So in theory, it doesn't matter if you've got different data in different data files. This brings it all into one place, and as long as you select both of those entities, you can certainly look, mix and match the data, and that's the real power of Reckon Insights. And as I said, we'll build on that into the future.
Another question here, does Reckon Insights give access to essentially all the data labels in the background so we can create and filter reports on any type of dimension?
Essentially it does. It depends how we're accessing that data. So with Reckon One being a cloud application, we're actually pulling through essentially the entire Reckon One database, and we're able to get to essentially any field or any database field that we've put in Reckon One. Reckon Accounts Hosted, we're working on QBO at the moment. They're accessed via the API, so we are limited by what that API gives us. Again, if there's a data element that we're not pulling through that you'd like, please let us know, and it is generally quite easy to get that, but the caveat would be, is it available via the API? So there are some limitations on the data that we're getting via our API.
Thanks, Jace. Will there be a user guide available? That's a good question. And will that user guide be available during the trial period?
Yeah, so we've got obviously the quick start videos, the quick start guide, and we also have comprehensive help documentation. And then we can also do a little bit of hand holding as well with our team. So yeah, we're really keen kind of to launch this product with best efforts in terms of giving you the tools that you need. And there's a lot you can do in this tool. So our help documentation is pretty comprehensive already around the basics. We want to run some more training sessions. I didn't even get into the advanced settings today where you can kind of customize your own dimensions from different data fields and bring them into your visualizations. So this product is very deep, and Andrew is always saying to me, don't scare our customers straight away. So very high level on what you can do today, and we'll kind of be guided by our wonderful customer base in terms of what they want to see, what complexity they want to get to, because we're not sure if people just want to keep it simple and use our dashboards, or do they really want to go deep into their data. And we'll be guided by what use cases kind of come across our desk.
Exactly, and it's a good point, Jay. So anyone that does sign up for that free 14-day trial, we've got an expert team of customer success managers who can really help you analyze your data with Reckon Insights and guide you to get the most out of the product. So we do have an expert team standing by to help you. Quite a few questions coming through, so it's good to so please keep them coming. I did touch on this before, but Jason, maybe you want to add a little bit more detail. Can we import data from another product other than Reckon into Reckon Insights?
We 100% can. Andrew did touch on the next data feeds we've got coming through. So we're actually working on QuickBooks Online right now. After that, our next one, maybe not in this exact order, will be Shopify, Square, and Stripe, because we've been in beta now since last year, and we've had a lot of different requests, and they're kind of the main ones people have asked for. We do have access for this year. We've got planned to access around 12 data sources. So probably reach out to us and let us know what data source you need. I think as a quasi kind of workaround in the short term, We might even look at a data feed from like Google Sheets, for example, so that you can at least get the data out of your other system, and then in real time we can connect and bring it into insights. But yeah, pop it in the chat what data source you mean, and it could just be CSV export, for example. But we're not going to stop at 2 or 3 data sources. We want to keep growing, because for me, it's more about kind of that holistic view of your business. Everyone would know, as a business owner, you might have data in your accounting system, but it's rarely the be all and end all of your data. You might have a point of sale system. You might be using Square for payments. You might have a manufacturing system, or head office might have NetSuite, for example, and you're using Reckon One, so as one of the branches. So for us, it's that consolidated view, and we want to keep going so that we can bring in different data dimensions and data sources to give you an holistic view of your business, rather than simply your accounting view.
Thanks, Jace. We have just a couple of questions here around how to switch from hosted to Reckon Insights. So we'll just clarify that Reckon Insights is a complementary product. So it's its own standalone product that sits alongside any of the Reckon Cloud products that you may be using, such as Reckon Accounts Hosted or Reckon One. So those licensing types and those associated licensing fees that I touched on earlier would be in addition to your current Reckon product subscription. A couple of other more detailed questions coming up now, Jace. We have customers and jobs within those customers. Sometimes we want to run a report on a supplier for selected clients. Can Insights do this? I don't believe Hosted can currently produce this report.
Now, it might be a little bit more data to, so yeah, please contact us either directly. Andrew, I think you've got put our emails up there at the start, or whether we've got a generic address you can get people to send info to. So I think for that one, yeah, just send it straight through to me in terms of what you want to visualize, and try not to send me any sensitive data. But if you can show me the sort of data you want to visualize, I used Reckon Accounts myself for 20 years, so pretty well across what it can and can't do. So if you want to give me like an example of how you want to see it and the data sources, I can see if we can bring that in. But it is that is one of the limitations of Reckon Accounts Hosted reporting. You know, it's very hard to take customers and supplier data and use it together. And Insights can solve that in most cases. But yeah, send me the example through, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. And if we can't do it today, we can look at building it for sure. I'm sure it's a valid use case that we'd love to cover.
I've just placed our email addresses back up there on the slide. Also, when you exit the webinar, there is a field to enter in any questions or feedback, so please just pop your question in there, and Jason and I will be reviewing all of those responses a little later today after the session. Good question here. How safe is the data that's being shared with Reckon Insights? Good question.
Yes, so our data is all held in Australian data centers with AWS, which is Amazon, along with all the major banks and accounting firms. So that's where the data is held with Reckon Accounts Hosted as well. So everything goes under our security umbrella, and yeah, the data doesn't leave offshore.
Thanks, Jace. Another question here. The consolidation demonstrated is just adding the data of various companies. Can consolidation adjustments also be included?
Yeah, they can. That was a very simplistic example I gave today. So you can do consolidated P&Ls, consolidated trial balance. We'd have to see if we can bring that dimension through to make sure that we can determine, you know, whether we can pick up whether a journal is an adjustment journal, for example. But again, we're looking for as many use cases. You know, we've thought of quite a few, and as I said, we've got 114 pre-built ones now. We want to get up to about 300, but we want to be guided by our customers. So yeah, just let us know what you need, and if we can't pick it up, we'll try really hard to get it, because we don't want to build consolidated reporting, but it's missing the mark in a couple of key areas. So as I said, sometimes we're limited by the API, especially in Reckon Accounts hosted. But we can actually go and change the API if we really need to. So again, we want to make this appealing. Andrew and I are very passionate about data and its use cases. We want to give our customers everything they've ever wanted that they couldn't quite get from their accounting solution, whatever that may be.
We've also got just a couple of questions here around PaySource over in New Zealand. So obviously PaySource is one of our integration partners for providing payroll services and integrating into Reckon Accounts hosted. Jace, maybe it's something that we can reach out to PaySource to see if we can get some of their data feeds into the solution, or potentially some of that data may already be available in Reckon Accounts hosted.
Yeah, well, if you're using the API to push through the bills, etc., for the payroll, that'll obviously already be available. We have actually put as a use case standalone payroll systems, because Reckon actually has its own standalone payroll, Reckon Payroll, and we'll be integrating that data. Actually, we've already started integrating it, but we'll be integrating that product with Reckon hosted sometime next year. So we are building the system so I can pull in third-party payroll, because we know a lot of our customers, especially in NZ, use a third-party payroll. I think around 85% of our customers use third-party payroll over there before we looked at moving with PaySource. So yeah, we'd be really keen to bring in external pay sources either in NZ or in Australia as well.
Jace, and another question here, are we able to bring together customer and job reports for two entities? So I suppose, yeah, have the ability for a consolidated job profitability report from two data files.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I haven't run that scenario yet myself. Again, I've got to make sure we're getting that data out of the product. But as Andrew said, we're reviewing these questions. All the ones that have come around, can I do this? Can I do that? I'll actually run each and every one of those scenarios. And yeah, we'll get back to you on what we can do, what we can't do. So the whole premise is, yes, we want to be able to take, either different jobs in the one company file or jobs in different company files and blend them all together. Once, I didn't really go into the technicals of it, but we essentially have these data sources and we suck them into a data warehouse, and then we run our visualization off that data warehouse. So the data is consolidated under your company, and then it becomes kind of not a different company file. It's all in there together, and it's really has a column that just says it's this company, company A and company B, but your data is already consolidated in our warehouse, and that's how we're able to consolidate with the visualizations.
And if you have classes and subclasses, can you report just at a class level only?
Yes, I'm going to say yes. The subclasses and the classes should come through as a separate filter. I'd have to check to see with the subclasses whether they pull through sort of like the rolled up to the parent class, and whether if you select the parent class, whether it only pulls through what goes against the parent class versus all the subclasses. So I'm not sure how we've done that in the architecture. But again, we'll look at all these scenarios and then report back to everyone on their questions, so they're really clear on what we can and can't do.
Another question here. We're a business in the health industry. Can we API feed data from those software to Reckon? Yes, you can. Rachel, you asked that question, and I believe you're still online here. So please just drop your details into the feedback form when you leave the webinar, and I'll be happy to share our API details with you.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways to do that, right, Andrew? Sorry, I know we're kind of running out of time, but yeah, we can either look at an API from that product into ours so that you're consolidating the financial data, or again, if there's a big enough call and we can speak to the other vendor and they're keen, we do have a bit of a roadmap for the data sources we want to pull through now, but there really is no limit. As long as that product's got an API, there is no limit over time that we can't have 100 different data sources. And I'm probably going to put my hand up and say we're aiming for 100 plus data sources over time for this product.
Another question here, can time transactions over 100 characters be extracted in full into CSV files? Might need a little bit more detail there. Do you?
No, I know what they're asking. I'm not sure of the answer because I know we do have limitations. And I'm assuming, yeah, probably capturing time data in the UI, characters, and it's going in, and then when it gets extracted, it's being cut off. So again, yeah, we'll look at the data we're bringing through around time from hosted, and we're going direct to the database. So my gut says CSV limitations don't apply, but again, we'll look at that, each of these use cases one by one. We've only just launched this product, and we're really, in the stages now where we want to generate some excitement, which I hope we've done today. And yeah, if it's not right for you today, we want to work really hard. We know we've got thousands of hosted customers out there. As Andrew said in the survey, they wanted better data reporting, customization, and this is the future for us, and we're really keen to tick as many boxes as we can.
With this platform, can you break down progressive account balances based on income received with the ability to see on a daily basis and the projected balances, including automatic payouts on a day-to-day basis? I'm currently using Excel sheets to track account balances.
I'm going to say yes. It might take a little bit of wizardry on our behalf, but it's a really good use case and one that we've actually thought of. So yeah, we'll run that scenario. We'll reach out to you directly and get a little bit more information. So definitely the way we've set up our demo book is we're really keen to do a restaurant because it does have daily ins, but obviously it's not that exact scenario where it's got the outtakes as well linked to that. So yeah, we'll get a little bit more data from you and a bit more detail and see what we can do. But really, if we've got the data available, we can build almost anything.
Can this also analyze budget information?
I'm not sure if we're pulling budget data through from hosted yet. I can check that, Andrew. But yeah, most certainly, if we can get that via the API. I don't know if it was in our first phase release. We'll check that, but if we can get it, then yeah, budget versus actual. There's a lot of analysis you can do there. That it's only you can only do so much in an accounting application. So it's definitely on our radar in terms of budgets versus actual.
It's a great one. Another detailed question here. Simple inventory reports required. Reckon Hosted has a report that indicates if you need to order an item based off on hand and on sales order, but you can't filter reports to only show the items that need ordering. It shows all items, which we have over 2,000, and you scroll through them and look for the tick, right? So I wonder if there's a better way to do that in Insights.
It's a bit of a passion project for mine, Andrew. I worked in a business that had 40,000 items in Reckon accounts, and reordering was extremely painful. And the client did not want to move to a $40,000 system. Fair enough. Our goal with this product is we've got the data to do those calculations, and yeah, we're going to do inventory, advanced inventory or deep inventory, not advanced but deep inventory later on in the year, and then we'll be working with our customers on what they want to see. But that, I totally understand that use case. We want to do some good stuff around stock turns as well. And then definitely at least putting a forecast trend line before we start getting into kind of machine learning and predictive analytics later next year.
Thanks, Jace. And lastly, can sales be analysed by month and by product for this year and in the previous, and obviously compared to the previous year, and how fast can that be exported to Excel?
Yep, great question. So again, I'll look into the depth we've gone into inventory. We know that it's probably around 15%, 20% of hosted customers use inventory. It's very hard for us to tell because, as you know, we don't have access to your data files. But there's a lot of inventory questions coming up today. I'm not really surprised, Andrew, because inventory analysis in any accounting product falls short generally. So I'm not surprised we're getting a lot of questions around it. And maybe we've looked at this the wrong way in terms of, well, it's 15% are using inventory, but actually Insights has the really strong use case for inventory. And yeah, we'll we might look at where we're scheduling that. But definitely, once we've got the data, we want to be able to slice and dice per product, show forecasting, previous sales, sales to which customer, everything you can get out of a $40,000 ERP system, we should be able to show in insights.
And a lot of great questions here, and obviously Jason, myself, and the team, we've done a lot of playing with Reckon Insights across various different data files, but we don't have your data. So everyone's use case for Reckon Insights is going to be slightly different. As I mentioned earlier, it is essentially just a sandbox for all of your data. You can do what you want with it. So if you're unsure and you're sitting here on the webinar going, oh, I think I could do this, or maybe I could create this visualization to achieve this potential outcome, just sign up for a trial and we'll work with you to see if it is possible to build that report or visualization. And if it's not, we'll put it to the tech team to see if we can make that happen as soon as possible. I think we've got one last question here. Can WIP be included in the company's visualization?
Great question. Something that I've tracked myself in the past. The last business I ran was a construction company. So it does depend on how you're tracking your WIP. And again, maybe send us a little bit more detail, because the way I was tracking work in progress may not be the same as yourself or other people on the call. But it is something that I used to track in spreadsheets, and it was a little bit frustrating. So the way I used to track it, yes, we could do that in Insights, but I need to know how that WIP's being tracked at the moment, and also what are the manual calculations, and can we do away with some of those using Insights?
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for your time today, and thank you to everyone for staying right until the end of question time. So if you do have any further thoughts or feedback, obviously just leave us a few lines in the survey report that will pop up when you leave the webinar. But thank you again, everybody. I hope you have a great afternoon, and thank you, Jace, for that awesome demonstration.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, everyone, for your time.
Have a great afternoon, everyone. Bye.